Yeah. So why do we get a positive answer every time when we put a number inside absolute value? So absolute values. And what is the symbol
Because
for absolute values?
it's like two lines.
Two vertical lines, yes. Okay, so you just said that if we do absolute value of 1, that's gonna be 1, and absolute value of -1 is also 1. So what is
Mm-hmm.
this? And do you know anything more about absolute values? Or maybe, if you try to think about it, then why do we get positive answer every time?
Because like it's the number away from zero.
Yes, exactly. Perfect. So absolute values, this is really important to understand because this is going to help us when we try to do absolute value inequalities. So absolute meaning of absolute value is that it gives us the distance of a point from 0. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. So this, if this is 0 and this is 1, this is -1. So distance of 1 from 0 is 1, and distance of -1 from 0 is also 1, because distance is always positive. Okay, so in general we can say that absolute value of x, no, okay, now I'll write it in the function form. So if we have to write the function form for absolute value, so f of x is equal to absolute value of x is equal to, so our answer will be different depending on, no, answer will not be different, but some different condition is applied in both these cases. So if x is greater than 0, then something is happening, and if x is less than 0, then something else is happening. Okay, so do you know the function form of absolute value, Anishka?
Uh,
So here I have entered x. So what will come out? So like if x is the input, then what will be the output?
X.
X. Okay. And in this case,
uh, like
so when you're inputting a negative number, like
oh, negative X. I
negative,
mean, I mean,
yeah, you are right, it will be negative x, because what is happening behind the scenes is when we are inputting a negative number, see, when we inputted -1, it became +1. So if we have to represent this whole thing algebraically, so see, this is geometric interpretation, this is geometric interpretation of absolute value function, and this is algebraic interpretation. So algebraically what is happening, how do you make -1 to +1? If you multiply it by a -1, then only it will become a +1. So whenever we input a negative number, this function multiplies that number by -1. So if we input f of -3, then we get +3. So what is happening? This -3 is getting multiplied by -1. That's how it is becoming a +3. So whenever we have a negative x, we need to multiply it by -1. So we multiply this by -1 and we get negative x. So negative of negative will become positive. Okay.
mm-hmm.
Okay. So now since this is clear, now we will try to draw the graph of absolute value functions. Do you know the graph of absolute value functions? How does it look like?
Like like two straight lines, like opposite each other, like a V.
Like a V shape. Yes, exactly. But everybody knows this. I am interested to know, why does it have this V shaped? graph? Why not something else? Like how does how do we get this V-shaped graph for absolute value function?
Because the y value is always positive, and the x value is like there's always negative numbers going into the input.
Okay, but then again, why should it be why should it be like this? Why is it not like this? Or like it can take any other shape. Why is it only taking the straight line? Or why the lines? Why don't we have something like this?
Would be like negative.
Hmm. So it's very simple. It's just the graph comes from this function definition that I've just written over here. So if you see this definition here, this says that y will be equal to x. So instead of f of x, I'm writing y. So y is equal to x whenever x is positive. So for all the positive x's which are on the right hand side of the origin, for this side, the graph of the absolute value function is going to be y is equal to x. And the graph of y is equal to x is this. Actually, it's this. Y is equal to x, the graph of y is equal to x is this. But we are taking only the positive x's, so we ignore this portion because this portion is for negative x's. But we are considering only for the positive x's, so we will remove this portion on the left hand side of the origin. And now for the left hand side, when the x's are less than 0, when x's are less than 0, then it is y is equal to negative x. So y is equal to negative x is given by this line. Actually, it goes like this. The graph of y is equal to negative x. But since here we are only taking the negative x's, so we ignore the portion of the graph which is for positive x's. So that's how we get this V-shaped graph for absolute values. Okay. And now
Okay.
in this graph there's a concept of transformations, and not all the transformations, just translation. So we can shift it up, we can shift it down, we can shift it right, or we can shift it left. Okay, so do you know what do we have to do? So if this is the graph, f of x is equal to absolute value of x, what should I do to shift it up by 5 units, let's say?
Um, you have to like take the absolute value of 5.
No, what I mean is, so let me take you to Desmos. So right now, if I have y is equal to absolute value of x, right now this is the graph. Now I want the graph to shift up by 5 units. So this is 5. I want it to I want it to look like this. So what change should I do in the equation over here?
To like add 5.
So like this.
No, to like I shouldn't. Yeah, no, to put x and then I close the two
Yes.
lines. And
So
then
outside the absolute values plus 5. So by doing this, the graph shifts up by 5 units. Okay. Similarly, what should I do to shift it down by 5 units?
to move down by 5 units.
Mm-hmm. I want it to come
To put
here.
to put like mine to put like -5.
Yes, then we will do minus 5. So minus 5 brings it down by 5 units. Okay, and now what should I do to shift it right side by 5 units? Now I want the same graph but here. So this is called the vertex of the absolute value function graph. I want the vertex to be here. You got the point. So this is 5. What change should we do in the equation so that it shifts right by 5 units?
Minus it by 5 to like x minus 5.
Inside.
Yeah.
Okay, good. And then if you want to shift it left, then we'll do plus 5. Okay, so this completes the absolute value functions. So we have completed functions. Okay, next, Anishka, we are going to do absolute value equations. I'm going to start with a very simple equation. Let's say we have this equation, Anishka. Um, Absolute value of x is equal to 10. So, what are the possible values of x?
10 and -10.
10 and negative 10. So 10 and negative 10. So we can write a general rule if you want to solve any absolute value equation, that if absolute value of x is equal to a, then we can say that x will be equal to positive a and negative a. So whenever you'll get a question of absolute values, you will make two cases. Okay. Now we will take slightly difficult equation. Yeah, absolute value of 3x minus 5 is equal to negative 1. Okay, and just remember this. So whatever you have inside the absolute values, so you have 3x minus 5, you will just write it. So you write 3x minus 5 and you'll make two cases. First case, you put it equal to a. A is negative 1, so put it equal to negative 1. And second case will be, you put it equal to negative of whatever we have, so negative of negative 1. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so can you solve this? Can you tell me the
Yeah.
two solutions?
Is it 4/3 and 2?
4/3 and 2, let me check. Yes, that is correct. 4/3 and 2, that is correct. Now here you have to be really careful that um, you got the correct answer, 4/3 and 2. Now I was doing this question in with another student of mine, and what he did when I told him that this is the solution, a and negative a, he solved just the first equation. He solved just the first equation and he got 4 over 3, and he thought that the other solution would be negative 4 over 3, like for this one. So that's a very common mistake that students do. Okay, so the answer is not necessarily supposed to be opposite of the previous solution. It can be entirely different solution as well. Okay, so this is absolute value equations, Anishka. And so similarly, if you get any equation, you just have to make two cases. First case, whatever you have. So on the right hand side, it should be just a constant. Okay, we'll do some challenge. I'll give you some challenging questions in homework, but not in class. Okay, next is absolute value inequalities. inequalities. Okay, again we will start with a very simple basic example. Oh, this is okay. Now let's say I have this inequality, Anushka. Absolute value of x is less than 3. Okay, so what do you understand by this, or if you can guess the solutions?
Um, that's gonna go to the left side,
Left side.
the arrow.
Hmm.
Yeah, the arrow.
Okay.
And like it's gonna be a circle on the three and not a dot.
Okay, one more thing I forgot to tell you. Here we saw for positive numbers and for negative numbers, but we did not do for 0. What happens when you take x is equal to 0? So what I mean to say is, what will be absolute value of 0?
It's zero.
0. So we can put this sign here. Okay. Why did I put the sign here? Because 0, we don't have to do any change to 0. We don't have to multiply it by -1. 0 will be just 0. And now in this case, Anishka, you said that the arrow will be left hand side, right? Okay, let's do this. Now I think you are confusing this with x is less than 3. There are two things, two concepts. First is a simple inequality where x is less than 3, and then this is not same as x less than 3. This is an absolute value inequality. So you can think again and you can change your answer. Meanwhile, I'm marking the numbers. So Anishka, just go back to the geometric meaning of absolute values. Absolute value was distance of a point from 0, right?
Much
Hmm?
like how much far is it from zero?
Yes, exactly. So absolute value of x means that distance of a point from 0, right? That's just meaning of this. Absolute value of x means distance of a point from 0, and this means less than 3. So we have to take those points whose distances from 0 will be less than 3. Just give me a second. Mm, okay, so can you think of a point whose distance from 0 will be less than 3? So here we have 3. If you take distance of 2 from 0, that will be 2, which is less than 3. That's correct. If you take distance of 1 from 0, that is going to be 1, which is, yes, which is less than 3. So tell me all the points like this whose distance from 0 will be less than 3. Points whose distance from 0 will be less than 3. I'm waiting.
Uh, if you take distance of zero, that's 3 units away,
Hmm.
and if you take distance of 4, it's 4 units away. And if you take distance of 5, it's 5 units away from 3.
From 3, no, you don't have
It
to
is
see it from
-1.
3. You don't have to take the distance from 3. You have to take the distance from 0, and you have to take those points whose distance from 0 will be less than 3. So
The
if,
distance of
yeah,
the distance of -1 to 0 is 1.
yeah, and that is also less than 3. So this also works. Then distance of -2 from 0 will be also less than 3.
Yeah, and then 3 and 0 too. -3 and 0.
-3 and 0 and 3. Okay. So can I say that the solution for this inequality is going to be all the numbers which are between -3 and 3? So from this to this, from -3 to 3, if you take,
Yeah.
yeah. So we will say that the way to write the solution is that x belongs to the interval. Now there are two types of notations, Anishka, and you can get the options in any form. One is called the interval notation, so I am writing this: x belongs to -3 to 3. This is called the interval notation. And then there is inequality notation, which says that x, all the x's greater than -3 but less than 3. So x, all the x's which are greater than -3 and less than 3. Is this correct?
Yeah.
So these are the solutions, and these are two different notations. This is interval notation and this is inequality notation. Now let's talk about -3 and 3. Should we include -3 and 3? So now if you have to plot the solution for this, Anishka, it's, if you have to plot the solution on the number line, it's going to be this. You said that it is going to be an arrow left side, right? You said arrow towards the left side of 3. But that will be the solution for this inequality. Okay, but with absolute value inequalities, it's slightly different. So the solution, this is the solution on the number line. Now should we draw open circle or closed circle on 3?
Open circle.
And why?
Because it's less than 3 and
Less,
not less than
yes,
equal.
less than 3. So we don't have to take the distance exactly equal to 3. We have to take the distances which would be less than 3. And that's why here I've drawn parentheses. Otherwise, if it had been a closed circle, then this solution would become x belongs to, then you draw the square brackets. So -3 to 3. Okay, and in this case this would become x is greater than or equal to -3 and x is less than or equal to 3. Okay, this is really important whether we are including 3 or not. Okay, Anishka, now we will do the other case when, now I'll just reverse the inequality. Absolute value of x is greater than 3. So now you think about it, what will happen in this case? Meanwhile, I'll draw the number line. Let me know if you can guess the correct solutions.
Is it Uh, 2 to -2.
2 to -2. So you're saying, so this is 2. You're saying from 2 to -2 these points?
Yeah, like everything in between too, like all the numbers in between.
Okay, so let's between, so this is the region that you're talking about, right? Or something else?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just verify this. If you take any point between this interval, let's take 1, and now check your answer. Substitute 1 in the question. So you get absolute value of 1, which is 1. And now is this greater than 3? Is 1 greater than 3?
No.
No, so that means this interval is not correct. We have to take those points whose absolute value will be greater than 3. Yes, Anishka?
Yeah. So is it gonna be from 4 and on, and
Hmm.
from -4 and on too?
Yes, you are right. But you just missed one thing, that you said that we should take from 4. But what about the numbers which are between 3 and 4, like 3.5, 3.6, 3.7? Like, let's say here is a number 3.5. If you'll take absolute value of 3.5, which is going to be 3.5, that is also greater than 3, right?
Yeah.
So we'll take all the numbers from 3, but we will not include 3. So there will be an open circle on 3. But even a smallest, if you go just smallest bit to the right, 3.1, absolute value of 3.1 will be also greater than 3. So we'll start from 3, but we will make an open circle at 3. Similarly, we will start from -3 and we'll keep an open circle at -3. So all these points. Now if you have to write the solution, now we will try to write the solution, Anishka. First we'll write it in the interval notation. So now I'm getting this interval and I'm getting this interval, and we are getting two intervals. So what is this interval, Anishka? This one.
It's from -3 to infinity.
This one I'm saying.
Oh, 3 to infinity.
3 to infinity. And this one?
-3 to infinity. Oh,
Perfect.
no, -3 to infinity.
Negative infinity to -3, yes. So we write these two intervals and we put a U sign in between them. This represents union. So you have to take union of these two sets. This is a set, this is a set, or this, we have to take union of these two intervals. And I'm keeping parentheses on both the sides, because first of all, we never put square brackets on infinity, and since we have open circle at 3 and -3, so we have parentheses. Now can you tell me the inequality notation, this like this?
Uh, X is less than -3, and X is greater than 3.
Perfect, absolutely correct. So again, as I mentioned, you can get the options in any notation, in either interval notation or in the inequality notation, and you can also get the options in number line notation. Okay, so we should be able to find out the solution in three ways: in on the number line, in the interval notation, and in the inequality notation. Now we will write a general solution for this, for the two cases that we did. If we have absolute value of x less than a can be anything, then the solution will be like this: x belongs to negative a to a. Okay, or we can say x is greater than negative a and x is less than a. Okay, Anishka, can you tell me the interval for this absolute value of x greater than a?
It's gonna be a no. Well, it goes to infinity
Hmm.
and then
Negative
negative
infinity
infinity.
to negative a union a to infinity, and x is less than, sorry, oh yeah, I was right, x is less than negative a and x is greater than a. Now, and if you also see one more thing, in the two number lines, Anishka, you see that the solutions to both these cases are exactly opposite. In the first case, the solution was between negative 3 and 3, and in the second case, the solution is everything except the first case, right? So the solutions to these two cases will be always opposite. And remember that if there is a greater than, I mean equal to sign, then this will become square brackets, and you will put equality sign here. If this is like this, it will become square bracket, square bracket, square bracket, square bracket, equality sign, and equality sign. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so would you want to try a question?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So we have this inequality, Anishka: absolute value of 3 fourths x minus 2 is less than 1, and you have to tell me the solution. I will write the general solution for this case. When absolute value of x is less than 1, we get x greater than negative 1 and x is less than 1. And I mean a.
Is it uh x is equal to
No, it
four
cannot,
thirds?
it cannot be equal to.
I mean, not equal to.
Hmm.
I mean, it's less than. Yeah, it's less than four,
Hmm.
and it's less. It's greater than four third.
Yes, you're right, absolutely right. So always again in the inequality questions as well, we will make two cases. I'm hoping you made two cases. Minus
Mm-hmm.
2 like this, so less than 1 and greater than negative 1, so 3 fourth over x minus 2 greater than negative a, as per this rule. And then we can solve these two. This one will give us x is less than 4, and this one will give us x is greater than 4 over 3. Okay, so absolutely correct, Anishka. Now let's go to the assignments, and today I'll be giving you assignments on, let's first write the assignments. Today, Anishka, I will be giving you first assignment on system of equations in two variables. System of, I'll write it SOE, system of equations in two variables. and second assignment on absolute values. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So I'm gonna discuss quadratics now. Quadratics. Did we start this one? The assignment.
Huh? I don't.
Did we start this assignment?
I don't think so.
Okay, great. So one by one, you can tell me your answers, Anishka. If there are 20 questions, I think we should be able to finish everything. For the first one, what did you get?
I got C.
Okay, that's correct. Mm, this one is really easy. Okay, this
Yeah.
one.
This one I got A.
Okay, great. A is correct. And I also want to know how did you solve this particular question?
I set them equal to each other.
You set them equal to each other. Perfect, that's correct. But here I would like to give you one more tip that in these questions you can also straight away plot them on Desmos. That will save your time. Okay, if you plot these two equations on Desmos, you will get the solution as well. Then number 3.
Number 3, I got C.
Okay, C is correct. Number 4.
Number 4, I got D.
D. Okay, good job. Number 5.
Number 5, I got B.
B is correct. Number 6.
I got 0.5.
No,
Wait,
0.
wait, wait, wait. I got 0.75.
No, that is not correct. Unfortunately, this one is not correct. The correct answer is 6. But okay, can you tell me how did you solve this?
I basically like,
Hmm.
I put a 2y equals 4.5, so I solve for y,
Okay.
and then like, I plot them on Desmos, and like saw which one intersects the parabola at one point.
So from here y is equal to 2.25, and then you plotted this equation and this equation.
And I got 0.75 with that.
No, but how did you plot this equation? Here we have a b.
Because like I saw in Desmos that they said like a slider thing.
Hmm.
So they'll set the values of B, and basically I saw which value B like
Hmm.
intersects the point at like one point.
Okay. And then you got value of b as. Are you sure you solved for b and not the point of intersection? I think you got the point of intersection. Wait, let's verify this. They or you B is going to be 6, Anishka. Can you check on Desmos? I am not sure how you did it. If you can let me
Okay.
know. Wait, so if we plot both of them, y is equal to 2.25. That's the equation. And the other one is you got B. What did you get for B?
0.75.
0.75. So I'm gonna put 0.75 here and we'll plot it. 0.75. Y is equal to negative 4x square plus 0.75x. But I don't, so in the question it says that this line intersect the parabola at exactly 1 point. So if I'm taking b as 0.75, this is not touching the parabola at 1 point.
Oh, I think I did solve for like the answer.
You got the point of intersection, right?
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, this looks like 0.75 and 2 point. That's what I was thinking. You would have solved for the solution. So how will you get the value of b from Desmos? There's
It kind of just tells you like,
no, but how will you plot this if you don't know the value of 6? There is b.
yeah, so like, it adds
Hmm.
slider for you, and it like guesses the value for you.
Oh, like this.
Kind of like guesses the value for you.
Okay, got it. I didn't know this one. I didn't know this trick. Okay. So the answer is going to be 6. But be really sure that it should touch the line. Sometimes it may look like it is touching. Okay. But I hope you also know how to solve it algebraically.
Yeah, yeah, I do.
Hmm. So what will be the condition? Because they can also frame the question in this form that um, they'll give you like 4 options, and they will give a relationship between um, b. So if what is the relationship when your parabola intersects a line at exactly 1 point? Hello.
Hmm?
Yeah, I was saying that if you had to solve it algebraically, then how would you solve it?
Oh, yeah. So I would like solve for y for the 2y equals 4.5,
Mm-hmm.
and I would set it equal to each other,
Mm-hmm.
and I would cancel out the x's, or like, and basically bring b by itself.
By itself. Okay, so if this is like this, so we put them equal to each other. Y was 2.25, so 2.25 equals negative 4x square plus bx. Hmm. Then what would you do next?
And then I would take 2.25 to the other side,
Okay, and then
and then I'll use a discriminant.
what will be the discriminant for this?
It would be, I didn't do it, but
Hmm. Sorry.
hold up, hold up. It would be,
When it's the case of exactly 1 point, when the line and parabola intersect exactly at
it was
one.
6. It was 6. It's gonna be 6.
It's gonna be 6, but the d will be discriminant will be equal to 0. That's what I wanted to know. Now this is really important, Anishka, that you know what will be the discriminant in this case, because they can straight away give you the formula of discriminant in the options. If you apply this and you get b square minus this should be equal to 0, and they'll give you 4 options in which they set up this condition. Okay, anyway, let's move to the next question. This one.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me the answer for this?
It's gonna be 36. Like, oh, this one, oh, uh, A.
Okay. All right. Next is this.
It's gonna be A again.
That's correct. You are on fire, Anishka.
Thank you. I got B.
B. No wonder quadratic is your strong skill.
Yeah, it is.
Mm.
And D.
D. Perfect. Then
And here I got 20.5. And
20
20.5.
20.25. Okay, that's correct. This is too easy.
Yeah, I got C.
This is way too simple than this one.
And this one I got
Sorry, you cut out.
yeah, I got B.
B as in 3?
Yeah.
No, that is not correct. Can you tell me how did you get 3 so that I can identify the mistake?
Oh wait, no, that's a different thing. Oh, never mind. I think I got A.
No, A is not correct, Anishka.
I
Can
did. I solved for X
hmm,
and got 4, -2,
hmm.
and 1.
So
Oh, I forgot it. The
yeah, I don't know what is it with this question. Exactly this question, my other student, she also got 8. And I was now I'm really, kind of surprised that how come this very simple calculation everybody is doing wrong. This is very simple. We cannot afford to lose points in these questions, Anishka. This is way too simple. Okay, this one.
this one I got -3.
Wow, that was a tough one. And this one. Hello.
I got 3 for this one.
3. Here there can be two solutions, Anishka. Either 0 or 3.
Okay. Yeah. So I chose 3. Yeah.
This question is actually not asked correctly. What is one possible value of x? It could be 0 or 3 as well, because you will see that the line will intersect at 2 points. I don't know if you did it on Desmos or you did it algebraically, but in either ways you will see that it's gonna, like, the line and the parabola will intersect at 2 points. One will be 0 point something, 0 and something, and this will be 3 something. So that's why there will be two values of x, 0 and 3. But anyway, you will not get a question like this. There will be a
Okay.
straightforward answer. And then this one.
Um, I got 51,
That's correct. Then this.
and this one I do not do.
Okay, so this is based on sum and product of solutions. So Anishka, do you remember the formula we did for sum and product of solutions?
I think.
Hmm? If you don't remember, then always you can go through the notes. See, obviously one thing is for sure, that they mention product of solutions, so it is based on the concept of sum and product, right? And now if you don't know what to do, then just go to the class where when we did sum and product. So that's this class. You open this folder and you will find the notes, and here you will find out the formula as well. This is the formula. Sum is equal to negative b over a and product is equal to c over a. So we need the product, so I'm writing c over a. Okay, that's how you also have to do the questions after the class. So if you feel stuck, you identify the topic and then you open the notes. Okay. Okay, Anishka, so what is it saying? It says that the product of the solutions is given by k times a times b, KAB. What is the value of k? So apply this formula, Anishka, to this equation and tell me the values of c and a. So like C over A for this equation.
C and A.
Hmm.
Um, A is 57,
Hmm.
and C is gonna be AB.
Perfect. So the product will be 57 over AB, is that right?
Yeah.
And they have given the product as this. So I can set this equal to 57 over AB
Oh, why is it 57 over AB and not AB over 57?
because your formula is C over A. Oh, sorry.
Oh, is it?
Sorry. Yeah, my bad. That's my mistake. It is gonna be AB over 57, you're right. AB over 57. And then can you find out the value of K?
Okay, yeah. It's gonna be 1 over 57.
Yes, exactly. So option A is correct. And this concept is becoming increasingly popular on SAT Anushka, sum and product of roots questions like these. Okay, so all you should know is the formula. Sum of the solutions is given by negative b over a. So here b is all of this, and product is given by c over a. Just these two formulas will solve the question. Okay, next, this one.
I got 5.
Good job. And this one.
Got 1.
Perfect.
And this one I got 288.
288. The answer is 289 to this.